Hello, everyone. Mr. Price here with the next portion of our read aloud. Yesterday, we took a look at Peter and Jessica's chapters, and that began the month of December in the book. The students were working on a project to do with different cultures, and they were going to have a Christmas party where they were talking about the different holidays that were celebrated in the different cultures. Today we're taking a look at Luke. Our bathroom is positioned directly across the hall from our classroom. Who cares, right? I'd never thought anything of it until the day I felt trapped out there. I saw the shakedown, dollarward, all compliments of Peter. I was in the classroom working on my holiday center. All my materials were spread out on the floor, and I was busy calculating the proper dimensions for my game board. Mr. Terupt was on the other side of the room, checking in with a different group. I didn't notice Peter. I stretched out on my belly and worked the math. The soles of my sneaks pointed up. A great invitation for mess around Peter. I never felt a thing. He's definitely sneaky. I sometimes wonder what's the likelihood, dollarward, Peter will grow up to be a world-famous thief. I had no clue anything was even happening until I heard the giggling, and Peter said, "Hey, Luke, what kind of sneaks are those? Elmer's?" I popped my head up. "What are you talking about?" "Better be careful. If you try to go anywhere in those, you might get stuck." I looked back at my feet. Mess around Peter had struck. The bottoms of my sneakers were completely covered in Elmer's glue. "You jerk," I said without any real authority. Truth is, I didn't really care. It wasn't worth getting upset over. Besides, I'm sort of used to Peter's antics. I thought they were always harmless. I untied my shoes and placed them next to me, bottoms up, of course, until I finished my math. Peter's victory celebration was cut short by my easy solution. Maybe I don't get upset with Peter because I know I'll always outwit him. That's what drives him nuts, and I love it. Once I finished my calculations, I grabbed my sneakers and headed to the bathroom. Mr. Terupt was still busy with a different group, so he didn't see any of Peter's shenanigans or me leaving the classroom. I held my shoes under the sink and washed off the glue. Then I wiped the soles dry with a paper towel and put my sneakers back on. I pushed the bathroom door open and quickly jumped back inside. I was trapped. Mr. Terupt was having a conference with someone out in the hall. I pushed the door open just a crack to see who it was. "You've done it your way," he said. Mr. Terupt had his back to me. He was leaning forward, talking to the person against the wall. "Now you'll do it my way." He straightened up, folded his arms. He meant business. And that was when I saw who it was. Black and purple streaks covered her cheeks, a combination of her makeup and tears. Alexia, crying. I had never seen or heard of Alexia crying before. "I like you, Lexi. I want some of your classmates to like you too. I'm trying to help. I want you to be friendlier, dollarward. I will not tolerate your meanness anymore." Wow, is this really going to work? "Go into the bathroom and wash your face. Come back when you're ready. Is there anything you want to say before I go back in?" Alexia stormed past Mr. Terupt without looking at him, and without saying a word. Mr. Terupt let out a big sigh and shook his head. Then he walked back into the classroom. I wonder what he was thinking. I decided not to say anything about my sneakers. It didn't seem important. Mr. Terupt had more serious matters on his plate, like discipline, dollarward. I waited a few minutes before following Mr. Terupt into the classroom. I didn't want it to seem obvious that I'd been eavesdropping, but I was eager to tell somebody about what I had just seen. That's why I think I walked into the classroom a little rushed and wasn't really paying attention. Even if I had been, it probably would have happened. I'd barely walked through the door before I stepped in a puddle of water. My feet went up and my arms flew out. I flailed like an ostrich trying to catch its balance. Somehow I managed to stay upright after sliding across the linoleum to the carpet. Mr. Terupt was having a serious conversation with Jessica, Danielle, Jeffrey, and Anna, so he didn't see any of this. But Peter, Ben, Nick, and some of the other guys rolled around in hysterics. I knew what they had done. Or should I say, what Peter had done. He liked to put his thumb over the opening of the drinking fountain and push the button. It's another one of his infamous stunts. This one makes the water shoot all the way to the door. That was how the puddle miraculously appeared on the floor. Whether Peter meant to have the water on the floor or if it just ended up there after he sprayed someone else, I don't know. Either way, it doesn't matter. I didn't have time to do anything about it because someone else came through the door just after me. She must have been making her rounds, going from class to class, just to visit for a few minutes. Today was her unlucky day. Mrs. Williams took one step into our classroom and hit the water. I felt sorry for her. She was wearing a navy blue suit, a jacket and skirt with high heels. She wasn't able to keep her balance. Her foot shot way out to the side as soon as it touched the puddle. I thought she was going to do a split. Then her other foot touched the water and slid forward. Mrs. Williams fell backward with her arms grabbing empty air. She landed on her back, right in the water, with her legs stuck in the air. Mr. Terupt rushed over to help her. The rest of us fought to keep from laughing. It was our principal, after all. Even Peter wasn't snickering. He actually looked nervous. "Mrs. Williams, are you okay?" Mr. Terupt said, helping her to her feet. "Peter, get some towels to wipe this water up." Why did he pick Peter? Because he knew Peter's antics led to the water being on the floor? I'm sure it was his way of letting Peter know he knew. "I'm okay," Mrs. Williams said, brushing herself off and smoothing out her clothes. "Sorry for the interruption." She turned and left. How embarrassing. As soon as the door closed behind her, the laughter and whispers started. "Clearly this can't happen again," Mr. Terupt said. "We're lucky Mrs. Williams didn't get hurt, or someone else didn't either. I expect we won't have water pooled on the floor like that again?" Mr. Terupt looked directly at Peter after saying this. Yep, he knew. He shook his head and walked over to his desk. "I thought for sure this event would be unequaled," dollar word, "by any other the rest of the year. Little did I know, something much bigger was coming our way." Luke, always hitting us with that foreshadowing. Alright, so now we have a chapter from Alexia. Teach was like, "Alexia? Sorry, I did the wrong voice. Teach was like, "Alexia, I think it's time for you to follow me." I went into the hall with him. He closed the door behind us. Teachers had done this stuff with me before. It was like no big deal. I didn't even give Teach a chance. "They're being so mean to me," I blurted out. "They won't let me do anything. Jessica thinks she's like the boss." But this is where Teach was different again. "Wrong," he said. "Stop." "But—" He put both his hands up. "Just stop," he said. I was quiet. He looked right at me. "You're lying," he said, "and you're being mean." I felt real tears coming. I didn't want to cry. Not for real. I squeezed my teeth together and scrunched my eyes. I held my purse hard with both hands. "You're acting like one of the meanest girls I've ever seen," he said. I couldn't help it. The tears came. I was really upset. I looked down at the floor. "I'm not being unreasonable, Lexi." I was like, "Yes, you are." But I didn't say anything. "I'm telling you the truth. And sometimes the truth can hurt." I kept my head down. I pulled the tissue from my purse and wiped my eyes. He was being a bully. "I know you're not mean deep down inside," Teach went on. "Stop acting like you are. Miss Kelsey has told me some amazing things about you in her room." He didn't get it. Nobody was going to be my friend. I know, because that's how it was before. Kids made fun of me because of my clothes, because of how I'd talked. Leopard Lexian, Lexi-like, they called me. And then one day in 3rd grade, I attacked back. I yelled at some girl like Mom and Dad yelled at each other. And after that, no one wanted to be friends with her. It didn't matter what I said was a lie. They ditched her and became my friends instead. Just like that, I became the leader. All of a sudden, I was getting all kinds of attention, unlike at home. Mom was around, but usually too upset over Dad because he was never around to worry about me. And then last year, she hit her limit and threw Dad out of the house. Mom told me then, "Alexia, don't let people push you around like your father did to us. You take charge and fight back." So there's no way I'm going back to being nice. Nobody's going to make fun of me again. I don't remember anything else Mr. Terupt said. I was too mad to listen. "I hate you, Mr. Terupt. And that's the chapter that we're ending with today. We're going to stop right there. Please remember to complete your exit ticket, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon.